This is the ending part of the book, but it's only an article, maybe 15 pages, 10 pages long. But I wish I can summarize. If not, I may have to continue. It's very important. So after talking about the Saichi, Myokonin, India, Japan, China, all the stuff, Daisetz is starting to summarize the whole idea, pointing that there are various symptoms that associate with the religion, depending upon the situation, the political, economical, social power. We have to remember that. And if you look in a wider scope, there's a connection to the tribe mentality, and there's a reflection of that. But everything changes, environment changes, we change. Tribe may be different, but if you look at the response from the tribe and compare to A to B to C, different tribes and how they respond, it's possible there is certain common character among them all. For example, comparing the Christianity and the other power, the Pure Land sect like Shin Buddhism, if you compare it, there are similarity between those two. So, in essence, character of religion, if we think about, there are certain principal issues that relate to connecting to the God, the infinite wisdom and compassion. So, in Shin Buddhism or other power and Christianity, it is more open or prevalent that is shared in the way they express. And because of that, Daisetz talk about Nietzsche, saying that the Christianity is for the sake of the slaves or some such thing, or the communist people, the parties, may point religion is the way of the capitalism to take over because of this, what's the word? Abusing people for their own interest. So it is to be expressed like an opium. That's one idea that may focus on such character. So in one sense, in one angle, if I might want to say, there's certain tendency because there's almost like a hypnotism, auto-suggestion. That's my word, not Daisetsu, but I'm interpreting that the character may promote that kind of a way to bridge the gap of what to go when you have the suppression and difficulties. But it's not the same. It's not only for those suppressed, but it's everywhere. And that's also my point. And I think he's getting there. So what does he say? So the peasant and the merchant and other those who may be seen as suppressed or disempowered or even seen as stupid or ignorant, those people may relate to that sense of the suppression and the power from like a top-down instead of a bottom-up. Not opinions be listened to or taken care of, but you have to live in that environment. So Christianity is as much as for those poor and be handicapped, and that's one of the ideas that may be expressed in order to promote the idea of Christianity. But if you look from the point of view of those who are, say, enlightened or connected to the spirituality and the liberate sense to come with it, from their eyes, those who are rich or with fame is also like those who are poor and suppressed. But from the typical society, the people, their viewpoint, the ones who are rich and privileged may seem to be enjoying the freedom or liberal sense of living life, as if it's a happy situation for them compared to those who are suppressed. So those who are poor and maybe seen as ignorant, they may wish or do something about those because of the hierarchical gap that they feel. So there are cases for the religious people, the priest, whoever, may point that to take care of the difficulties and suppression or handicap sense, religious people may push that idea for it to be taken care of. Just side note, I remember Daisetz talking about his young days when he was going through the poverty and he felt why there is this inequality in the society. So I think he may be pointing that kind of a sense that the question of what is this about? What's going on? So that may trigger him to go into Zen and Buddhism or whatever, and also Christianity, studying this and that, and to synthesize toward the end of his life, maybe this was written when he was 70-some years old, to kind of capture how he felt over the many years of life he has lived. But going back to the main story here, he says, but tell you the truth, if that's the right translation. In reality, I think he says, the essence of religion is nothing to do with those almost probabilistic event of such circumstances, because everything changes. So it's nothing to do with it, about envy, privilege, wealth, poor, ignorant, not any of that has nothing to do with it. That's his main point. Beyond those biased opinion, if you may want to call it, to be truthfully looking at the situation, not complaining the environment is wrong or the hierarchy is wrong and why there's inequality, but it's beyond that. And therefore, and also he said it's nothing to do is the tribe mentality. So far, he's been talking and I was explaining that has the connection of how the religion has prevailed in certain instances than not. But even that doesn't have anything to do with the truthfulness that he feels about the religion. So he says, in religion, there's something absolute. And that sense of absoluteness comes out in people reflecting in some way or the other. It starts to manifest in some way or the other. So he points, whatever, it's there. Where there is human, there has to have religion that comes out. To realize that, he says, is the realization, awakening, or spiritual awakening. That is the awareness that we may have at the core, not related to the circumstance, inequality, and this and that. That may have certain symptoms that we affected, the suffering and all that, or envies, or ignorance. How do you deal with it? But beyond that, at the core of it, he's pointing there's awakening that can come, or that is what the awakening is. So he says all the events may be summarized or captured in such a way, but really, especially in religion, there's something going beyond the intellect. So if you point that then come back to indicate that there will be a blind faith. So there's a danger for that, but also looking from sight, there may be something very narrow-minded, and there may be a lack of clear wisdom or logic or rationality in religion. It's possible. But the one who are in there doesn't see that. They believe in it. And then he would go against such criticism. So what it comes down to is that his expression is funny. How can anyone know if the bird, or this could be crow, to read, if they are male or female? How can you know? I think he is pointing, it's a subjective thing, my interpretation. And if so, there would be an argument or criticism or response to those who point out that rationality is not there in religion. So that's another argument that can come out of it. But he says that the key is that because of those biases, we shouldn't be just red and crazy and get tied up or confused in that situation. We have to go beyond that. The point, therefore, is that the spirituality is beyond intellect. It can go beyond intellect. My word is wisdom. He doesn't say that, but it will go beyond wisdom. So spirituality, then, it's not to be completed when you go beyond intellect. I guess that's the way he says that, because spirituality has to go once, or more than once, in my view, away to intellect. That's my term, is connecting to the heart. And after you've done it and have the liberated sense, whatever the absolute sense you have, then you go backward, playing with, maybe that's not the right word, but using the intellect or the words and logic and all of that has to be somehow integrated. Connect to the heart and use the word and live with a mission. That's my book and comment. And that, I think, is what he's talking about here. So whatever the tribalism we may have, it is according to or reflecting to the historical circumstances that provide them to be. But it will not stay the same. It will change after change, impermanence, right? And then what it points to is that the religion itself would find itself confirming its essence in a purest form, and to prove that, to be. That's the last sentence. I hope I did okay translation. It's a difficult subject, and he spent the whole life talking about it. And this has captured the various religion, tribe mentality, gaps existing here and there. And given that his positive sense is to utilize the intellect in the right way and go over whatever the circumstance we may have, go over the difficulty that will come because of the gap it may exist, but that is only to prove the essence, which is absolute point of how the universe may be manifesting. That's my word. And that's why we may want to be awakened to move in that direction. Thank you.